This is Weather Scope.
Well, monsoonal rains continue tonight in the desert southwest. Flash flooding has been reported in Arizona and New Mexico. Full details on that coming up in just a moment. Good evening to you. I'm Bob Stokes.
And I'm Mike Bono. But first we focus on the front that's going to bring cooler temperatures to much of the east. Today it brought thunderstorms and rain to the middle Atlantic states. In the nation's capital, brief thunderstorms this afternoon helped to relieve the heat and drop temperatures over 10 degrees from the mid-80s to the low 70s, and the wind picked up too. Tomorrow the area is going to be drier with lots of sunshine and a pleasant breeze. Get this, in Washington, D.C., upper 70s and low humidities. Meanwhile, in Columbus, Ohio, the rain came down this morning, and pre-dawn thunderstorms doused the area with heavy rain. And look at this, the typical underpass problems. You go under an interstate and you get into some flooding. It's a low-lying area, and sometimes the cars could get stalled in flooding like that. So be on the lookout. In Columbus, Ohio and elsewhere, we're seeing quite a bit of activity right now from North Carolina right on through Illinois and even Tennessee. Still some severe thunderstorm watches and warnings. Low pressure is getting pretty complex right now on the map. The original low we were looking at back on into Cape Cod, and you would think that it would go out to sea based on what we were showing you earlier in the day, and the front moved down, but there's an upper level trough and more reinforcements of energy aloft coming in from Wisconsin and Illinois that are deepening this low pressure that's now running from Pittsburgh down to around Washington. And this is the low that's going to move into the coastal waters and act like it's winter, act like a nor'easter, with northeast winds and wind-blown rain and very chilly temperatures for this time of the year in New England and maybe down to northern New Jersey by tomorrow. But still a bit of a severe thunderstorm watch in effect in eastern North Carolina, back toward Hilton Head, South Carolina. You've had some severe weather, but this watch is in effect up to about Myrtle Beach, where you've also had special marine warnings. Look at what's happening here. There's a ridge in the west building and a lot of monsoonal moisture coming up with that. Then the jet stream cuts through and a major trough developing, carving out a path, very chilly air based up in James Bay, Canada. And it's that trough, that cool air aloft, that's been firing those thunderstorms. Look at what's happening. The upper level winds are backing now. And this is exactly what you get in the cold season. If this were January or February, we would be looking at a snowy nor'easter developing. The wind's back in the upper levels, the cold air comes in, it moves over the Gulf Stream. We're going to have low pressure, a coastal low, not a tropical one, that's going to make it feel very autumn-like. But thunderstorms ushering in the whole thing. The first batch is already east of the Delmarva, still pounding into North Carolina. More on that in a minute. Preston County, West Virginia, with a flood warning. We had wind damage there earlier in parts of West Virginia. Cumberland County, Pennsylvania, has had wind damage. Sweeping through the ridges of Pennsylvania, southeastern New York. This, instead of the frontal zone that we saw earlier with a lot of convection, a lot of thunderstorms, is turning into a shield of rain now. More characteristic of a cool season low pressure system. Now there is still some heat and some cold air aloft, so you're getting those thunderstorms west of Allentown and south of Harrisburg, some of them strong, and throughout a lot of Connecticut. Quite a flash flood warning in New London County right now, but it's a steady rain in many areas too. Now to the south, still some warm tropical air. The Outer Banks of North Carolina, special marine warnings, Currituck Sound, probably Pamlico pretty soon, Myrtle Beach. Mecklenburg County around Charlotte now has a severe thunderstorm warning. We had 1-inch hail in Kingsport, Tennessee. Pikeville, Kentucky had 1-inch hail earlier. Now another big storm just west of Pikesville in Kentucky. So the cool air descends down and it really runs into all that warmth and humidity, but a lot of cold air coming down from Canada, as we're seeing. But even though it's cooler, we're getting thunderstorms anyway because the upper level air is cooler than what we have on the surface. LaSalle County had a gust of 70 miles an hour. In Kankakee, we're getting a possibly severe thunderstorm. And back on into Carroll County, a gust to 65 or 70 miles an hour earlier. Still the threat of severe weather in the Midwest, parts of the east, and the southeast too. Now back to Bob.
Well, thanks a lot, Mike. The monsoonal flow in the west continues. Rain has been reported in much of the desert southwest today. Although not directly associated with the monsoonal flow, heavy rain did fall in Albuquerque, New Mexico today. Scattered showers moved through the area, causing some localized flooding. Highs climbed into the mid-80s, but did cool off during the downpours. Now tomorrow the forecast calls for partly cloudy skies with another chance of scattered thunderstorms. There's the west and there's the monsoonal flow. We have this upper level ridge that's allowing that deep layer of moisture to come in, at the same time allowing temperatures to soar in the deserts of Southern California as well as Arizona. Temperatures well above 100 in many locales. In fact, yesterday Pasadena had a high of 103 degrees, and no doubt before it's all said and done today, there's going to be many locales east of LA hovering above 100. In the meantime, there's the wet weather. A lot of flooding occurring in the north central part of Arizona and the south central sections of Utah because of that flow of moisture coming in. You can see the clouds extending all the way up into Montana as well as the rainfall. We've seen significant rains in the Salt Lake City area. In fact, just about the entire state of Utah is under a flash flood watch right now. Here's one reason why. Look at that layer of moisture streaming in from the Pacific Ocean. Again, it's that upper level ridge at work. Also some strong thunderstorms in the Denver area, particularly in the western and northwestern suburbs. So please be careful traveling out of Denver, the downtown area, heading home toward the northwest. In the meantime, you can see around Rollins, Wyoming getting wet. Also, Yellowstone National Park, Old Faithful. I don't know if you've ever been there, an umbrella needed.